Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trending Topics. My name is Joni Rampolla, one of the registered licensed dietitians with Giant and Martin's. And today we are going to be making a dish because our topic for the month is how food connects us. So, not starting out with why I chose this recipe and how food connects us, but I will talk about that story. Um, but today I'm going to share my screen and we are going to go through Florentine meatballs. There we go. So here's a recipe, turkey Florentine meatballs with spaghetti. Yay! This recipe gets 3 guiding stars, which is one of the reasons why I love it. What are guiding stars? Guiding stars is our nutrition navigation program to help you quickly find foods with the most nutritional value. So you find guiding stars in our store. You could see it on the shelf tag to the right of the price, like in this picture. 1 star is good, 2 stars is better, 3 stars is the best nutrition in that category. It's also on our direct website. If you're ordering from Martin's Direct or Giant Direct, you can find it by clicking on an item and going where the nutritionals are for that item. Then you'll see if it earns a guiding star there. Or in our Savory website, some recipes also earn guiding stars. But it's rare to find a 3-star, so I'm really excited that I did. So these are the ingredients: spinach, garlic, turkey, oats. I love that it's oats instead of breadcrumbs. Sodium-free Italian seasoning, an egg, no added salt tomato sauce, Nature's Promise whole wheat spaghetti, and grated Parmesan cheese. And these are the steps. We're going to preheat our oven. My oven's preheated. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper. Drain your spinach very well. And then in a bowl, we're going to combine the spinach, garlic, turkey, oats, Italian seasoning, and egg. Season salt and pepper if you wish. And then form these into balls. It makes about 24 balls. Place them on your baking sheet. And then they bake for 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to start by popping mine in the oven as soon as I get off this slide. Then to a Dutch oven, we're going to add the tomato sauce, remaining seasoning, salt and pepper, bring that to a simmer on medium high, then bake the meatballs in that sauce for another 10 minutes. And then meanwhile, bring a large pot of salted water to a boil, cook the pasta according to package directions, serve the meatballs and sauce over the pasta, and sprinkle with Parmesan if desired. So those are our steps. And I'm going to stop sharing because that was so hard today. And then I can see your comments too. Love the Guiding Stars program. Absolutely. So here's how I'm going to start. I knew I wouldn't have time to mix everything and make meatballs, so I did. I got that part going. Let me find my gloves. I had gloves here somewhere. No. So I am just gonna show you what I did. Just take hunk of meat, roll it around in your hand. One, second one, roll it around. 2. So it makes 24 meatballs, and that's what they look like all done. And then I'm going to back up and show you what I did to get to this point. They take 10 minutes in the oven. So we're going to pop them in now, and now I'm going to go backwards and explain what I did to get here. So you preheat your oven first. I did that. I took a sheet pan and I lined it with parchment paper. That would be the second step. And then ideally you have a box of spinach, but I happen to have a bag of spinach. So you take the chopped spinach, you want to thaw it. So I had this like 2 days in the refrigerator thawing. And then you want to squeeze all the water out. So I put mine in a bowl. And if you just press it against the side of the bowl, it gets the water out. But if you do that, a lot of spinach will come out with it. So I put a paper towel around the spinach and just pressed it against the side of the bowl to get all the water out. Can you use fresh spinach? You probably can, but this is cooked, so there's more spinach and less quantity, if that makes sense. So the amount of spinach would be different. I think this is better with the already cooked spinach. And it's chopped up. But yes, you can figure it out and use fresh if that's what you prefer. Yes. So then that's my spinach. Then we take a large bowl, and to that bowl we put in the spinach. 2 cloves of garlic. So I just bought a garlic, took out 2 cloves, and I have a mincer. I just put the clove in there and then press it, and it comes out here minced. So added the garlic to the bowl. Our turkey. So this is my empty container because it's already in the oven. Oh, you know what? I should put a timer on. Oops. Just so I don't forget how long they've been in the oven. So yeah, so I bought the 85% lean, 15% fat. So it's kind of like the same as beef almost. So a little bit more fat, not the totally lean turkey. And that is because just the fat gives it moisture and it doesn't dry out. Can you use old-fashioned oats instead of the 1 minute? I'm sure you can, and it wouldn't be a problem. The 1 minute just grinds up quicker. Like it's a thinner cut, so it just dissolves easier. But yes, you can. Can you use ground chicken? I am sure you can use ground chicken. It's all the same. You can use beef if you want to. I mean, any ground meat would do the same. Does red beets ever come in frozen veggie section? Oh my goodness, I wish I knew that answer. I don't actually know that answer. I can find out for you, but I don't know that answer. But so that is the turkey that we added. And then I added oats. And I love adding oats instead of just breadcrumbs because the oats actually add fiber and just gives it a nice heartier feel instead of a breadcrumb. So we add all of those and then 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. So in the recipe, it says low sodium Italian seasoning or no added salt, or it says something like that. Let me see what sodium free Italian seasoning. That's what it says. So I'm looking in the spice aisle and I see this one. And I went, oh, well, I don't see the sodium free one. So I'm going to buy just the regular. And I bought this, but there's no salt in here. There's no sodium in here. This is sodium free. It just doesn't say it on the label. And I just wanted to call that out. Italian seasoning is just a mix of different seasonings. Please show the spinach again. Missed it. Yeah, so spinach, to get the right quantity, comes in a box. Usually it's a square box for the 10 ounces, but my store at the time I was there didn't have the box, or I missed it if it was there. So I just bought a bag, and the bag is still half full because the bag has a little bit more quantity. So I didn't use the whole thing. Somebody uses whole wheat bread. Yep, you can do that too. Spinach is something we eat a lot of. Excellent. Love it. Good. Yes. So that is the spinach. And then you mix all that together. If you want to add some salt and pepper to it, you have control of those seasonings and that quantity. So you do that. Then you form it into balls. I put on gloves to make mine into all the little, about what, I just took a spoon and got the right amount. And, every time it was the same. You just want them consistent in size, not big ones, not little ones, so that they cook evenly. And to me, that's most important, getting them to cook evenly. Then you pop them in the oven and they sit in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Mine are in the oven now. And then I'm going to put the sauce in this pot. And then the meatballs, after they come out of the oven, they cook in the sauce for 10 more minutes. So I'm watching my time here, trying to trying to get it just right. So I'm going to pull mine out of the oven and I'm going to flip them. It says flip them after half of the cooking time. It's not quite half yet. They've been in there. I think I set my timer for 10 minutes at a 6 minutes, so they've only been in there for 4 minutes. Maybe I'll give it another second. Let me turn on the heat here. All right, I'm going to start heating up this pot. So this is my Dutch oven. And to this, we're going to add 2 cans of no salt added tomato sauce. So why this gets guiding stars is because the no salt added tomato sauce, there's no salt added seasonings over there. We're using the pasta is a whole grain or whole wheat pasta. So it's a very dark brown, healthy, rich pasta. We're using turkey instead of beef, so there are a lot of reasons that this gets a guiding star. So to get the 3 stars, it needs to be the no salt added, because sodium is one of the things that would detract from a star. Oh, thank you. Answered the question. They do not carry frozen beets. Yes, yes. Thank you for that. Look at that. I love that. So I am just opening these jars right now, or cans, and I'm going to put it in there. And I love that that question got answered in chat. So cool. Now, no sugar added marinara. Yeah, you know what? If you don't want to make your own sauce and you want to hit the easy button, feel free to throw in a jar of sauce there. Yeah, lots of things that you can do to make it a little bit easier. So I love the spinach in the meatball because it adds moisture, adds color, and just adds flavor as well. So yes, it's really nice. I want to talk about why I chose this recipe. But you know what? Before I do, I'm going to turn over my meatballs. Give me a second. I'm going to pull them out and toss them a little bit so they roll around and get the other side cooked. I'm just giving them a wiggle. I'll show you them on the pan in a minute. Flipping them if I can. And this way, just the bottom doesn't get too brown. And that's what they look like thus far. And then my sauce is starting to boil here. I'm gonna stir my sauce. And then to my sauce, we're gonna add a tablespoon of that Italian seasoning. So 1 tablespoon went in the meatballs. The 2nd tablespoon is going in the sauce. And I take the lid off so I can get it in there. There you go. So we did that. We want to add some salt and pepper. There's no salt added to this. So I'm going to add a little bit for flavor. but I like that I can control how much actually goes in there. There's no reason why I chose Mediterranean sea salt. I don't think it's better than any other, but that's what I'm using. That's what I have. And then just a little bit of plain ground black pepper. Give it a little bit of flavor. I'm gonna let that simmer. And while that simmers, I want to just tell you my story of how food connects us, why I chose this recipe. And we have 10 minutes left of class, so I'm going to send a picture because this probably won't be done in time. But my grandmother was my favorite person in the world to me. I feel like I am so much like her. I am so much more like her than either of my parents. But anyway, she wasn't the best cook ever, but she had two recipes that she always made. And one of them, I think she was way before her time, was what I'll call air fryer chicken. She had a toaster oven, or like a counter oven. It wasn't quite a toaster oven. She would just lay the chicken on the rack so the heat can get up underneath it, and it did convection. And she would say, "This makes the best chicken." So that was her fried chicken. Her other, or air fried chicken. The other recipe that she would do was meatballs. And she made regular meatballs, not with spinach in them. They were just plain old meatballs. But the sauce, she always put veggies in. She chopped, it was usually like onions and carrots and celery and whatever she had would have these tiny, tiny, tiny little bits of vegetables in the tomato sauce. And I used to love that. So when I saw this recipe of a vegetable with a meatball in a tomato sauce, I'm like, that just reminds me of my grandmother, and I want to try it. So for National Nutrition Month, the theme is food connects us. And food does connect us, right? Some things you eat with somebody and you share a moment, and then you realize, like, oh, that food can bring that same emotion or that same memory back. So food can be really important in our world. And it's one thing to recognize that and notice how maybe food brings people together. What are the meals that you pull family around the table for? And it's funny, I don't have grandchildren yet. I hope I do someday. But I always think about like things like if I serve them a meal, I'm not going to think it might impact them, right? But I know my grandmother's cooking totally impacted me. Some foods just remind me of her. And she's not with me anymore. So this is a meal that reminds me of her, which is why I chose it today. But yes, so I am making my Florentine meatballs in honor of my grandmother, even though she never put any kind of veggie in the meat, she put it in the sauce, and it's just kind of touching. Yes. Yeah, everybody has a story of how food impacts them or what memory or emotion a food brings up, because it does. It totally does. Yes, thank you. Yeah, everybody's commenting about somebody that, they remember food connected to. And that is what March National Nutrition Month theme is. And I'm one of the later ones in the month, but hopefully you heard other stories of how food connects us throughout. Yes, definitely connects us because everyone loves to eat, without a doubt. Thank you. Thank you. Connecting through food, absolutely. So I am now going to check on my meatballs and throw them into the sauce. They look about done. Just going to lower them into the sauce here. And they take 10 more minutes in this sauce. So I may just send out a picture when it's done because it'll be done 10 minutes after class ends. Because I see I now only have 6 minutes. And I did already cook my pasta. I did the whole wheat pasta, so it's brown in color, adds a little bit of a nutty type flavor with these meatballs. And then I just top it with some cheese if I want. I like a fresh little basil leaf on top. And that's how I make my lovely Florentine meatballs with spaghetti. Linda's most like her Italian grandmother. Love it. Oh, you are quite welcome. Yes, we will send out a recap. And sorry for all the technology issues. I'm learning a new computer, but my picture's better and I'm happy about that. Just gotta get all the little details together. Thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, appreciate all the love and chat. I really appreciate all of you for your tolerance and patience. Thank you. Oh, good. Glad you learned something. Have a wonderful, yes, weekend. Absolutely. Thanks everybody for joining me. Bye.